Hi, everyone. Welcome to Radiant Living, Inspiring Humanity to Thrive. I'm Marisa B, your host, and today I have with me a pop icon, actress, author, radio and TV personality, part of the Exorcist legacy, humanitarian, chaplain, 12-time Paranormal Awards winner. She's made comic book history by being the first human being to be written into a show and a book, just like she has been doing all her life. And the name of the program is the name of the book is The Haunting Tales of Batchelder's Grove. I hope I said that correctly. Yeah. She hosts Hollywood Entertainment News, Atlanta Happenings, Supernatural News Bullets. She is trademarked as the Queen of the Paranormal. She has a children's book out. I believe you worked with Don Diamond. I think that's his name.
Yes.
The Muppets.
Diamond, yes.
I'd like to welcome today Ona Carole. Keo, thank you so much for coming.
Hey, thank you for having me. You and I have been in touch for a long time trying to set this up and just, get to chatting with each other. And, it's wonderful to finally, we're here together.
Yes, finally. And, you're so busy. Oh my gosh, you do so much. Can you, first of all, explain, how did you get into this? Because you do everything. How did it all start?
When? I'm just trying to think. I know that when I was a young child, as far as the paranormal goes and the ability to do dream interpretations or spirit communication, that started very early on. I'm seventh generation so far that we can think of, but there may be more. And this is on my maternal, babcia, grandmother in Polish, and the stara babka, old grandmothers, that's my great grandmother, and it just went on. It did skip my mom though. She used to get all creeped out about it. So I would be aware of things and tell them about events that I had I had recollection of, but I wasn't born then. And so they would confirm it. So I was at a very young age able to, I guess, see things. I knew things that were coming, let's say possibly the future, in a strange way. And so that just kept going and going until today. And so what I do is I like to educate people to the world of spirit communication, dream interpretation, healing, energy healing, and the different things that I do. And that particular aspect of doing things like that, helping people, helping animals, pushing people forward, gave me the opportunity to go to these different Comic Cons. I trademarked the name, Queen of the Paranormal, and everyone in the paranormal community had a breakdown over it. But yet they all had their different names. They had the grandmother of the paranormal, the rock and roll ghost hunter of the paranormal. They had all this stuff. But God forbid I picked the Queen of the Paranormal. I'm a girl. And I trademarked it on top of it.
But it's kind of true, right? I mean, you've won awards for, if I'm not mistaken,
yes.
being pretty adept at EMVs,
for EVPs.
EVPs, right?
Yeah.
You've been on is it Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters International? Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International.
I was never on there. This is a misconception. People always screaming and yelling, "You were never on those shows." No, I was not. I never said I was. We were in the same event management company, and we would do events together, and we would go ghost hunting together all over the United States.
Right.
That is what is written. But people who are, I guess, envious of your growth don't take the time to read what is actually written, and they just go by assumption, like somebody else would tell them, and therefore it's fact. And you don't. All you got to do is go to the website and read the darn thing. And I just get a kick out of the ignorance of some people. But okay, let's get all past that. I trademarked myself and I started going to very large Comic Cons like Chiller Theater, Rhode Island Comic Con, the big ones. And I did this because I felt doing the paranormal cons, you can only sing to the choir so long. You're not getting out of the church. You need to have a way to express your knowledge, teach and share things that you've learned. And the only way to do that is with the general public. So I took that step and I'm so glad I did. And then that's what I do. I go to the Comic Cons, and while I was at Oak Comic Con, I ran into a gentleman, Charles Moyset. He is the owner of Phoenix, Silver Phoenix Comics. And he asked me if I want to be in a comic book. And it's like, who wouldn't want to be, right?
All right.
I just said, I'll do it. I said, but there's just one thing I really need you to do. Keep me in the comic book as I really am. What I do in real life, what I do to help people, what I do to heal pets and people. And if you can do that, I'll be in the comic book. So he did. And then the author got a hold of me. His name is Brian K. Morris, and he's a comic historian. And he told me that he's researched it, and he said, I'm the first person in comic book history to be a superhero doing what she does in real life between the pages of a comic book.
How wonderful.
Yeah, that all started at the Haunting Tales of Bachelor's Grove, which is in Illinois. And so it just seemed amazing. And then I started researching, and he's right. And he told me the first persons to do their job in a comic book was Roy Rogers and Dale Evans.
Look how long ago.
Yeah. And as far as a superhero doing it, you're documented, saving kids and this, that, and animals, all this stuff. You are the first. But, being a woman, I find it very hard to break that glass ceiling. Now we have, and that was in the beginning. And Stan Lee, we all know who he is.
Yes.
In 2016 at Rhode Island Comic Con, congratulated me on my historic comic status. He told me I was just going to have a hard ride with it. And that's because these comic companies are invested millions and millions of dollars in these comic characters that are made up. I'm not made up. I'm 100% real, and I bleed like everybody else and cry. And my stories are real in the comic books. So that's how we got that status. And then we move forward to doing different types of, paranormal shows and hosting this and appearing on that movie.
And you were in quite a few movies. You were.
Yes. And I call myself a glorified extra. I love doing the extra work. It's simple. It's easy. I can do it remotely on a green screen, or I go to a studio and do it, or on a set and do it. And it works out good because I like being with my family, and it's kind of hard if you're traveling all the time to spend that time with your family. But years before I trademarked Queen of the Paranormal, I worked with a gentleman called Bob Boyd, and Bob Boyd and his friend Michael Siegel had these tapes. And these are the original interview tapes of Father Gallagher. Now, Father Gallagher was a professor of divinity at Georgetown University. And The Exorcist came out, so they interviewed him. And he had with him a thing called the Bishop's Files. Now, these were the accurate accounts of the exorcisms to make that movie, the book, with William Peter Blatty. He was a student of divinity, where Father Gallagher was a professor. And so he was a student. He wrote the book, subsequently the movie, and Bob Boyd and Mike Siegel had the tapes. So I decided, why don't we do this? Why don't we compare the tape to what actually happened in the movie? And we did. I did. I did. I did that, and I came up with an event where we showed the priest in the movie saying unclean spirits, and then there's Father Gallagher reading verbatim what's on the paper, you unclean spirits. And I did back to back like that, and we leased part of it to Warner Brothers, and it's on their director's cut of the 40th anniversary of the exorcism. So it was funny again, going back to some people who are, I don't know what they are. Everybody hates somebody, So,
isn't that terrible?
It's awful. And they don't read. And they say, you were never in The Exorcist. No, I was never in The Exorcist. But I did contribute that to that. So I'm part of that legacy. Whether you like it or not, that's just the way it goes. So that's how that happened. And that was a wild ride trying to get I was trying to get the footage ready, and the audio would separate from the video, and I'm not touching anything. It was if it didn't want to be seen. We almost got in a car accident on the way there. Bob Boyd was in the office. We're trying to get this thing out of the computer before the event, and he's sweating like slime off of him. I thought he was going to have a heart attack. So a lot of weird stuff happening with that. And so that's what we have for that with the paranormal things. And as far as acting, been doing that for years, and I love music.
Yeah, you're also a singer, right? You're a singer as well.
Yes. And been doing that for, I don't know. I remember singing in the car to my mom, going to places when we lived out in Maryland. My dad worked for the CIA, and he was working at the White House and different places like that. And but I remember driving in a car. At that time, you didn't have like car seats. I was holding my sister, and for my mom. So we go shopping, and the other kids are in the back seat, and singing away, singing my head off. I love to sing. So I was fortunate enough to go to the Hayes Conservatory of Music in Worcester, which was part of the Art Colony School in Latham, New York, which is part of Juilliard. And I graduated as a vocal performance major. And I sang for my graduation. I sang Verlingens Globe, which is a German opera. When the flowers bloom in the spring. So that was an interesting thing to have to remember and then do it right.
Indeed.
Yeah. And to this day, I think I know like maybe a quarter of the song. And every once in a while, my grandson will say, can you sing that for me, Grand? Please sing that for me. He's so sweet.
Oh, how cute.
I sing Polish lullabies to him too in Polish.
So how nice. Oh, how nice.
Trying to get him to like different languages and be accepting of languages and things and people. Yeah, that's what we do. Grandma does. And his mom too.
So tell me a little bit about the hosting that you've done, because I know that I was in an airport not that long ago, and you're actually doing a show that they show at the airport on the airlines.
Yes, I don't, to tell you the truth, I don't know if it's still up. I did this probably 5-6 years ago. We did Paranormal 13 News. That was, maybe it was a little longer. And that was the first paranormal anything on airport television.
Yes.
And so we did a bunch of those. Then we did Supernatural Bullets, which are 15 to 30 seconds long. Just gives you a quick little thing about different supernatural things. And we're talking about, these demons and everything. And people are writing in, I missed my flight because I was watching that, watching her. So yeah, they did an article on that. This guy missed his flight. He was all upset, but he was so intrigued. He just couldn't leave, the TV. So that was really cool. And I host Hollywood Entertainment News, which is wonderful. We do positive messages from the celebrities, and we don't delve into what older celebrity is wearing a diaper walking down the street. making fun of people. I don't do that. So my television aspect is just based on positivity. And no one else is doing that.
Right.
So there I have a niche product as well. And I do that all the time. And it's a lot of fun.
But you're known for bringing the paranormal to the public, to the general audience, because whenever would you hear about that on an airline television program, or even at the gas stations? From what I understand, it was running there as well.
We were in the digital signage market.
Yes.
Not so much for Paranormal 13 News, but for Supernatural News Bullets, for Atlanta Happenings,
yes,
Hollywood Entertainment News. These were quick little bumpers. And also Veterans Green Coffee. And this is we did the little bumper commercials that went up in electric car charging port areas, and they went up in selective Shell stations and Esso stations, which is mobile, all around like Canada, and then several areas in the United States. So constantly, and when I did that, people were like, why are you wasting your time? Be on TV. Well, I've been on TV, but the digital signage market, or the OTT and OTTS market, which is what it is, it's fabulous. You can be in the mall on these great big like screens that come down, and you're talking about all your stuff, or you're advertising for someone else. And that's the wave of the future. So that's where I took the Queen of the Paranormal. I took the Hollywood Entertainment News, and I'm still doing it and loving every minute of it, and love doing, interviews like this. It's just fantastic, and people are like, don't you ever get bored? No, I have I want to say, the blessing to be able to work with my family. And I've got my daughter, my son, and my grandson. Okay. But it's nice to be able to have a family business. KO Productions is a family business. And we do a lot of work with a lot of different companies. For one of the companies I work with is 360 Studios Ltd, which they have an app now. You can download it, and you'll be able to see my shows. And you'll also, it's 360 a TVN Plus, with the plus on it. You download that and you get into it. There are veteran shows. There's a whole bunch of different comedies. There's Hollywood programming, and mine. Also up there, it should be up hopefully by now, is my older shows called CC the Huntress. And these are shows that were done like 15 years ago, but they're still viable. And they're marvelous, and they're kind of scary, and they're all like not edited. It's just the tape runs out, we're done with the show. So I would go in and figure 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and we would cut and put it together so that people wouldn't see the lag time. But those shows are still, like I said, they're viable. So I have I forget, like 60 of them up there.
Right, 60 episodes of that particular show.
Of that particular program. And my husband has Bob Carroll and the Next Step, which was a fun show to do. And so I have like 9 episodes of his things up there. And those are super cool. It was all about having a team go in and ghost hunt, and then they would compete against another team, then another team, and we'd have a winner. And
wow, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, so it was really cool. A lot of those teams are no longer around. It was a while ago, but it's all in the learning process. It's all in the sharing what you do process. Now I have another show which we're in production right now. And it's a paranormal show, but I can't really say much than that, because people, even though it's in the can and got the green light, and people take ideas. And so want that to happen until it is up. And when it's up, then hey, you know what?
Oh, you'll have to let us know when it's up so we know where to tune in. And but you've also been involved with, and it's Game of Thrones, but the online, right? At the online fandom, you were actually in episodes there.
Yes, and that's all. If you go on to my IMDb or Google me or go to fandom, you'll be able to see it. Again, glorified extra. And it's just fun being able to do all of that. People don't realize that you may have horseback riding skills, or which I do. I've had an equitation license in the state of Massachusetts for decades. New Hampshire, where I live now, you don't need that. But yeah, to be able to work with the animals on set and all of this, it's fantastic. And the other thing is I'm a makeup artist, and I did my makeup myself for a silent movie called Silent Time.
Yes, I was going to ask about that because it was a silent movie, which is so different to do in modern times.
Right, and we won many awards on that with different film festivals because of the accuracy in the makeup, the clothing, and the way it was filmed. And it was a learning lesson too. I didn't realize filming at that speed of, I don't know how many frames per minute, the cinematographer would know that stuff, but we were trained to move in slow motion because the framework would speed everything up. So when you look at these programs, you know, the silent films, you see everybody moving fast. That's because it speeds up with the film, but they were actually doing it like Charlie Chaplain in slow motion.
Wow.
So that was a learning lesson to behold, but it was fun to be able to play, what I play, the psychic, a medium Lenora.
You won an award for that.
Yes,
you actually won an award for that. Yes.
And and now I get to play Madam. I'm going to be Secretary of State in a movie. It's a movie franchise. It's their third movie coming out, and it is a Clown Motel, 3 Ways to Hell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I wanted that part so bad that I actually made myself look like I researched the different women that were secretaries of state and even the men to see where their pins were on their jackets, what did they wear. And I did a combination between Condoleezza Rice and Hillary Clinton. I did a combination between those two because Madeleine Albright, she was wearing brooches and stuff.
Yes.
The other two had a pin of the flag, and so didn't the current Secretary of State. So I modeled myself with the clothing, with the pearls, with the head up, everything, and sent it to the producer saying, I want the job. Basically, I can handle this. I can do this. And I will go the mile for you. And lo and behold, that plus an audition thing, I got it. And I have that up on Facebook and social media, and people are like, boy, you look so different. And that's the beauty
of acting, right?
You get to become and do like fun things. And so that's what I like. I don't always look like I have blonde hair. Sometimes I wear contacts. I have brown eyes. I'll wear brown hair. I'll have just a whole different array of things. I had grayish hair as Secretary of State, gray highlights with a gray strip in the middle. It just looked, you know, a little more mature, I guess, professional maybe. So I stuck with that, and they seem to really like it. So I'm very happy. The film's being produced by Joseph Kelly and directed as well. So I'm very happy.
We'll have to put that information in the description, because I will leave all the information in the description of everywhere that people can go and see what you do. But I know that acting and Hollywood and a lot of that's fantasy, but all kidding aside, you have a lot of serious business that you do. You not only wrote a children's book, but you also work with veterans. So I want to talk a little bit about that. First, the children's book, because my family and we actually heard you speak quite a number of years ago at a panel that was from Jim Henson and the Muppets, and Mr. Diamond was there, and you were on the panel. And that was the first time we had ever heard about the work, the behind the scenes work that people do. And so can you tell me a little bit about the children's book?
The children's book I thought of myself because of my grandson. And I named it after him, called Dean. Dean is sad. Now, there's a series of books, and I'm still working on them. And the illustrator for the cover of the book was Billy Diamond. Now, Billy Diamond was involved with the Muppets,
yes,
the puppeteer, and drew a lot of the comics and things like that. Very good friend of mine from traveling. You know, it's like a one big family. We travel from this Comic-Con to that one, and we're always together. He's a 3-time Emmy winner, and he drew the cover. Now, these books are about real situations that kids have to face, but gets them thinking, and they have a positive outcome. Like Dean is Sad is about one of Dean's friends yelling at him, and Dean gets very upset and doesn't understand, like, why is his kid yelling at me? Well, and I'm using dinosaurs and, you know, pterodactyls and kids too, but just a blend of a whole bunch of different things. And so me, as I am, you know, talk to Dean the dinosaur and say, maybe I'm just summing it all up real quick. Maybe the reason Sam is mad, that was the pterodactyl's name, is because you didn't ask him to play with your friends. And he got very sad and doesn't know how to express himself but to yell. Why don't you ask him to play? And then he did, and everyone got along, and they were playing, and everyone was happy. So these are situations for younger children to realize that maybe someone's mad at you because it was something that you didn't include them in, and they have the verbal skills or the social skills to let you know what's upsetting them. And
it teaches them communication skills.
It could be as simple as just invite the kid to play, you know, let's all get along kind of thing. And so that book sold completely out. I did another one that sold out. So now I'm waiting for more to come in. So yeah, it was quite a success. Now we have another book coming out. And that goes along the series about hard-hitting subjects. The second book is about having bruises and thinking they're from, he must have got beaten up, you know, parental abuse or something happened, you know. But it turns out the one with the bruises was actually saving a kitten in a tree, bruised up. So instead of going on assumptions and running crazy telling everybody that this is happening, maybe you should listen to find out what really happened. Listen to the facts. So don't base what you see as fact. Ask, learn. It's a discussion. So and it had a positive outcome because they saved the kitten in a tree and everybody was happy.
And that book is coming out. That one.
Yes, that's what we're working on right now. We're just at the ending part of it, you know, with the graphics and coloring things up. So, yeah, so that'll be coming out, I'm hoping within a month.
Now, you are a chaplain and you work with veterans. Can you explain a little bit about that? Because in addition to everything you do, you actually give time, and you've won a humanitarian award as well.
I love our veterans. I support our veterans wholeheartedly. I work with Veterans Green Project initiatives, and they're a veteran-owned company, and they help disabled veterans that come right off the battlefield, buy their coffee products and fixing computers and selling them. And they've got a great organization there. If you could look up Veterans Green Project initiatives, that'd be awesome. So I am a chaplain. I'm also a reverend, but the chaplain services seem to
Mhm.
suit me much better because everyone has a different religion,
Mhm.
a different way to pray, a different higher power,
Mhm.
and a different reason to why they need a chaplain
Mhm.
service. I like to say it's just great conversation and giving people the time of day to talk and express themselves, and bringing with you a list of services
Mhm.
that they may need to get involved in, like with the homeless veterans and
Mhm.
things. But it's not limited to just veterans.
Right.
It's everybody. And so we
Mhm.
go out again as a family, and we usually do this on Saturdays, Sundays. We got a few hours. We'll just go to another town, homeless
Mhm.
encampment, and just chat people up and talk and bring gift certificates. I
Mhm.
try to save money from the events and my sales on
Mhm.
the website to be able to purchase things, but never give money. It's
Right.
always a gift certificate. It's always
Mhm.
blankets.
Mhm.
It's something they need. And but most of all, I find that they need is conversation.
Mhm.
They're
Mm.
people. They just need
Yes.
help. You shouldn't damn them to death.
Mhm.
Things happen, and it's good to be able to contribute and brighten their day.
Mhm.
We do the same thing with pets
Mhm.
and the elderly around our neighborhoods. We'll cook like a big St. Patrick's Day
Mhm.
meal, share it and stuff. And I brought my kids up doing the same.
Mhm.
It does take time, but
Yes.
the benefits and the rewards just outweigh that.
Yes. And now, can you tell me a little bit about the Humanitarian Award? Because you were awarded one.
Yes, and that's, again, I'm just dedicated to helping people succeed and achieve their
Mhm.
goals. I'm dedicated to the plight of veterans and the homeless and the elderly, and also pets that are in
Mhm.
need, to be able to give. Not everyone's a 50c3. Not
Right.
everyone is like that. You have people that are working full time raising a child.
Mhm.
They have to pay for daycare. They've got to pay for stuff. And then they don't have enough of the electric bill, and they can't get
Mhm.
on food stamps because it looks on paper
Mhm.
like they have the money when they
Right.
don't. You and I, we go to the
Yes.
grocery store. I,
Yes.
I'm in shell shock when I see stuff
Yes.
like that. But when I see a discount, I buy a couple extra things. And it was
Mhm.
just yesterday, I packed up for a neighbor. Well, I call a neighbor. She's a couple streets away.
Mhm.
We were just chatting, and she was, she goes to the food pantry. She's trying to make
Mhm.
ends meet. So I went home and I packed up things that I had, tuna fish,
Mhm.
spaghetti sauce, spaghetti. I ground pork already frozen in the
Mhm.
packages,
Mhm.
and nothing opened. And I brought her a bag of stuff, packed flavored
Mhm.
rices. I said, this can last you for a couple weeks. And she says, how can you give this? Don't you need this for your family? I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, but I always buy extra. If I
Right.
buy one and it is a sale, I buy two.
Mhm.
And I put that over there, and so I'm able to help. And again, these are struggling individuals that
Mhm.
work, that just don't have the means to get all the food they need
Mhm.
or the nourishment. And it's tough. I mean, I live in the city. I see it all the time. And I walk
Yes.
around my community all the time
Mhm.
as well, to be able to help and give back. And again, that's how I raised my children. That's how my daughter is raising her son as well.
And now, just assume that the audience wants to reach out to you to maybe assist with something like that, either the elderly or the pets. How can they do that?
Well, they can go into the website. We've got two, queenoftheparanormal.com,
Mhm.
or they can go to hollywood entertainmentnews.com.
Mhm.
And from there, you can see the stuff we do. And if you wanted to donate, then you have the opportunity to do that.
Mhm.
And that's why I like being placed on events and Comic Cons and stuff,
Mhm.
because a percentage of all of that gets put aside, so we're able to provide
Mhm.
for these. And even you'll have like these people that take pets in,
Mhm.
and they're not 501c3. They're
Right.
just foster parents. They need
Mhm.
help.
Mhm.
Maybe the organization they're being a foster for has a 50c3.
Right.
Okay, cool. But the other people are still feeding the
R-
dogs. So
Yes,
you're like,
that's true.
yeah, you need to, help out a little bit. And
Mhm.
so that's where I come in on a little basis. There are
Mhm.
so many other people like me, and it is great to see there are other people out there helping as well.
Mhm. Now, I'd like to know a little bit about the paranormal per se, because you brought it to a wider audience. Um, do you find that it's more accepting nowadays, or do you find that people still maybe don't want to believe it or don't want to get involved with the conversation?
I think they don't, it really depends. If they're a diehard paranormal person, they're gonna love getting involved in that conversation.
Mhm.
And I have found it's just the way it was even 20, 30 years ago. If you're a professional and someone asks you about it, you're gonna say, I don't believe in that. But then they go home and they wonder, they pray to their mom, their grandmother. What would they say? Can they give me guidance? Can they, who are you talking to? You're talking to a dead person.
Mhm.
But yet, in the when you say the word paranormal or ghost,
Mhm.
everyone freaks out. So,
It is true. But
yeah,
I would assume that you must hear many stories, because I'm sure there are many, many
yes.
people that have stories. They may not necessarily want to say a ghost or paranormal, but they must have had some experience, some encounter. I'm sure you
Right,
hear more of that. I mean, I know I hear more of it today, and especially with people like you have brought it to the fore because you have it out to the general public. You're
right.
doing this all the time.
And the one thing I love about the Comic Cons that I do is that I have the ability to sit down with people and talk. I just
Mhm.
don't sign. I do sign the pictures. I need an income
Mhm.
and all of that, but I sit down and talk to them very hands on. I show them how to use the dowsing rods. I'll do a reading for them, or a spirit communication, or
Mhm.
whatever, or just sit there and listen to their stories. And so they feel better when they go home. They have a better understanding. It's
Mhm.
knowledge is what it is. I want to be able to share my knowledge. And that's how all this started years and years ago, was sharing your knowledge on
Mhm.
video and putting it up and doing it that way. And then it's just grown, and we keep growing, keep coming up with ideas
Mhm.
and filming and doing the events, and working with a lot of people, and it's all good. I do know that paranormal is a niche product,
Mhm.
and so it has a limited audience, but I've been able to cross over into the general public
Mhm.
because of what I do,
Mhm.
and the different digital signage markets I'm in, and the comic books and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and shows just like yours, to be able to get out there and explain it. And so I'm able to broaden that, at least for me,
Mhm.
so people can, who would normally never turn on a ghost show in a million years.
Mhm.
There's a psychic, turn it off.
Mhm.
She got the devil in her, and
Yeah.
all stuff like that. But yet, when they hear it from me in a more palatable
Mhm.
manner, it becomes more plausible to them and more accepting. And so,
Mhm.
therefore, you are able to broaden it out to Main Street.
Mhm. And I think also making it more accessible for people to speak about some experience they might have had that before they would not have, because it's more in the public eye. I think that's what you actually do. You bring all of this to the public eye, so people are not afraid to say that I had this experience. I don't know what it is. I don't know what happened, but I had this experience. I think they're more apt to talk about it.
Yes, and they write to me as well. And you
Yes.
write to me right through the website, and I try my very best to answer sincere
Mhm.
questions. Um, well, as a woman,
Mhm.
sometimes you get these very rogue
Mhm.
comments, and so those you don't answer. You just let
Mhm.
that go. And along with entertainment and being a woman, and I'm sure men too, you have stalkers,
Mhm.
serious ones that involve law enforcement,
Mhm.
which unfortunately I do. But I do have security,
Mhm.
and I'm always made fun of.
Oh, you would have to. You would
by
have to have
having
security.
but I can remember, is that 13 years ago or 14 years ago? I'm trying to remember. About that time frame, I was at an event, and the gentleman has since passed away, but he had this great place up in upstate New York for paranormal events. So I went there to be part of it, and be on the bill with other people. And there was a paranormal group hosting it. They were made up of a mayor in one town, a police chief in another. This is a paranormal show, and all of this. And of course, they're not broadcasting it. And they came in, I was there. And next thing I know, it was in the middle of the night. There's a bang on the door, out the door, and two men came in from that team. We're staying in your room. And I'm going, why? Well, we were outside having a cigarette break, and we found all your vending things all over the lawn with cigarette holes in pictures of your face.
Wow.
Security. I just said, that's it. So I had one of the gentlemen who was a police officer and a fireman. He did, but like, it was fireman first, retired, then a police officer. So he would travel with me doing these different events if I was in his area. If not, I'd have somebody else. Now at the Comic-Cons, they have security for the celebrities. So I don't really have to bring anybody with me. But if I was to do an event locally, I would have someone there and let law enforcement know that this stalker or that one, I have to advertise. So, and that's sad. That's something I don't really like to talk about all that much, but it's something that you have to protect yourself and your family from, because you never know.
Oh, absolutely.
They write, me messages, they're going to pull my teeth out. And all this stuff. And I'm thinking, that is just so, I thought we're out of high school. What's going on?
Well, it's so sad. As a therapist, it's sad that there are so many people that are hurting on the planet, and they feel the need to have to do that. It is sad.
I think they want to make you feel as hurt or devastated as they are, because when you seem positive and you put positive things down in smiling photographs, why is she so happy? Why is this? Why is that? Well, I am by nature a happy person. I'm positive, and I like helping other people with positive quotes and things like that. And some people get like, I guess it sets them off. Why can't I be, like them? Well, I don't want to be like them. I want to be like, and be me, and be with my family, and be happy, and be blessed that way.
And now, can people find out all about your programs that are coming out, the books? Is that all on your website? Do you have a calendar of events? Because I know that.
Yes, they can go to the website. And I've kind of pulled off of the events probably
because of
the filming. A lot of filming to do, which I actually really like. I'm going to be doing some after this show. I'm doing some test shots actually in my living room. I know it sounds weird, but I have test shots to do for an opening scene. And I just want to see what it looks like, how I'm moving, how are the gestures before we actually get on set. So you're kind of prepared if they say, you know what, I don't like that. Can you come this way and do it? At least you know what you look like and where your hands are. And I think that's important, for any actor or actress to practice in front of a mirror or video yourself and watch it. And it's not for an ego trip, it's for educational value. Maybe your hands
it is a job, we don't think about it, but it is a job. It is a job. Yeah. And if you're successful, you have to do your job correctly.
Yeah. And if they go to my websites, either one, you'll be able to get into the social media aspect. And I usually put everything up there in social media.
Oh, that'll be wonderful. And I will put all that in the description.
Great, thank you.
And under the recording, so that people can see where they can contact you and actually to see what you're doing, because I'm sure there are some people that want to know if you're going to be at events or what's the next thing coming out. I know I'm quite anxious to hear about the paranormal show, when that's going to be starting. I know that right now it's still in the works. So I'm waiting to hear about that.
We're going to be, well, I don't know when this show is going to air, but you and I, it is, I know the date we're filming now, but this Sunday we're actually.
This will be July. This one will be out July. I believe you're going to be out July 25th.
That's all finished by then. So, and then I got the Hollywood Entertainment News, which I do when I'm at the different events, or.
Yes, I was going to say, because I think you did, one of the ones that I recall distinctly was where you were at the Tribeca Film Festival. And you were interviewing people there. Yes.
Yes. So what I try to do is get into different film festivals. We're doing a series of things at the Cannes Film Festival. And then I'll go to smaller things like the Record and Toy Show here in New Hampshire and Maine, which is next door to us. And I'll go there and interview the different stars. So then I have footage to be able to put up, or a positive message, and work.
And that can be seen where? The TV, that can be watched where? I'm sure there's a couple of
360 TV and plus the app. They can go. I don't promote YouTube, but it's on YouTube if you want to see it. We have other streaming media, coming down the pike. And my newest thing I'm involved in is 4Vision TV, which is a television station which is owned by Roy Foreman with the blessings of his brother, the champion, George Foreman. And I work with them with developing strategies for publicity. I also am a content provider for over 20 years in PR. So I think I do a good job if they contacted me.
Yes.
So I'm able to review whatever they have and make changes, put it up. I've got a wide social media thing for Hollywood Entertainment News, which is the PR source, ES News PR. And we just blast it everywhere. I mean, you name it. It goes to illustrations. It goes to Newsbreak on your phone. I'm a content provider for Medium, Press Party, Press Log, you name it, Press this or that, and tons of magazines. So
yes, because you've written articles too. Yes, you've written articles for certain magazines.
Articles for magazines out of the UK, Spain, Chile, Mexico. Just all.
That's why I said I couldn't do you justice. I gave just a tiny little snippet of what you do. I couldn't do anything justice because you're so busy.
Bring a buck home and pay the bills, I'll do anything. That's not true.
Well, no, but I mean, you have talent in many different avenues, so that's wonderful. And of course, what you give back to everybody.
Yes, and working with the Foremans, wow. I mean, I really don't know much about boxing or the sports or the extreme sports or, martial arts that they're going to be putting on their channel, but I know PR. So when that comes down the pike, they're like, oh, I didn't see that. Well, maybe, she got an idea here. And so I've been able to, like I said, strategize and develop these PR posts and put them up for them. And it's really cool. Keeps you busy. And we've got our first big bout coming up on 4visiontv.com. And that's going to be a Cinco de Mayo. It's going to start on May 3rd with the live weigh-ins, and then May 4th with the actual fights with the fighters.
Well, that should be pretty big. That should be pretty big, pretty wide audience.
Yes, I can't wait. So that's cool. Then how do I integrate myself in that? Because that's like a separate job.
Right.
I'll figure out a way. I'm good at it. So that's cool.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, it's work and you do it well.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you so much, Kay, for coming on. I call her Kay. I know that she's headlined as KO, but I call her Kay. And I want to thank you. I know you're so busy. And this has just been wonderful talking to you today, just about a little bit about what you do and how you do it so well. I want to thank you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate all the questions you asked me. You've such a beautiful soul. I can just see it radiating from you. Such a beautiful
thank you.
To be around.
Thank you.
And
thank you so much
for having me on today.
Oh, I thank you. It was wonderful. Hopefully we'll speak soon at some event or again on the show.
Okay, we'll talk later.
Take care. Bye now.